What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Seth the Line Surgeon. And you already know what time it is. Tipsy Talk. And it's kind of a sad Tipsy Talk. Well, it's not actually a sad Tipsy Talk. It's a sad / motivational Tipsy Talk. Right here, y'all see I got a new backpack sprayer. It's Groundworks, which for those of you who have Tractor Supply, I think that's like a Tractor Supply brand, the Tractor Supply brand. So yeah, and there's a story behind this Groundworks. Might as well get right into it. I'm drinking 211. As y'all can see up there on the counter. I'm kind of like, I switch every month. One month I might be drinking Red's Apple Ale. The next month I'm drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade. This month I'm drinking 211s. You get them in a 6-pack at the Dollar General. Anywho, this is probably the worst beginning to a season that I've ever had. This is my 4th year. To give y'all a summary of my years of promoting. My first year, I kind of fell into it. I started my lawn care in 2012 in May. Kind of fell into it. I made up some flyers. I went and started handing them out. And I got a few jobs here and there, blah, blah, blah. So, I made some money for that year. And then, 2013 came around. I said, hey, I like to do this. Maybe I should do this as a profession, start a business. So 2013, I said I'm gonna go hard. So 2013, you could catch me everywhere, handing out flyers. I'm here, I'm there, morning, nighttime, I'm handing out flyers everywhere. You know what I mean? And I went from 3 or 4 regulars in 2012 to 2013. I bumped up to 7 regulars. And like I always told y'all, when I say regulars, that means people I can count on, that I know, they tell me, you're my lawn care guy, you're gonna be cutting my grass all summer. So I know I'm gonna be cutting their yard. But then I have other people that just call me. So that's when I say regulars, that's what I mean. Anyway, we're going to 2014. 2014, my plans are to go into the season just like 2013, which is going hard, handing out flyers. So me and my wife, we walked around a nice neighborhood that's next to our neighborhood, handed out flyers in that whole neighborhood. That was the only time I handed out flyers last year. And that was because after I handed out those flyers that day or that week, people just started calling me. I just started getting referrals and people started calling me. Calling me. So I never even, I was so busy, doing mulch here and different jobs there. I never even had no time to hand out any more flyers. So I went through the summer doing pretty good, and I ended up by the middle of the summer, I had about 12 regulars, and then that worked its way down by the end of the summer to about 9 regulars. So that was that, you know what I mean? And one thing that happened last year is we got pregnant. My wife got pregnant, and we ended up having our daughter in September. So here's where the situation starts. We were blessed with our daughter. Love my daughter to death. But of course, it's more child care involved when you have a child. So, for the most part of the winter, I was, taking care of our daughter, and in the daytime or whatever, to where I didn't get to go out and work, and so I would have to schedule jobs in between, taking care of my daughter, and that's pretty tight. I just got a text from one of my customers, and it kind of dropped down on the top of the screen. But I'll check that later. Anywho, yeah, so I was taking care of my daughter for the wintertime. So, usually in the wintertime, somebody called me and said, hey, Seth, can you come out and do this? I'll be like, I'll be there tomorrow, but because my daughter, I had to pick days to go do the jobs. So it was more like, I'll be there Tuesday, I'll be there Thursday, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even get to take care of my yard. My yard is looking crazy. I got 3 piles of leaves that I still need to get to the dump. But now I have to mix that in with doing actual jobs for people while trying to get my yard done. And, I still haven't fertilized my whole yard. I only fertilized my front because I want to make sure that was done. But anywho, we'll get to those videos later. But yeah, so that's what happened. That's how my winter went. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, trying to get my jobs done here and there. So, of course, I end up running behind to the point of we get up to late February. I like to have my quotes out for my for my recurring customers, I should say, by February. And so this was late February that I ended up getting these flyers out. These quotes out. Yeah, I made a video about that. And I got those flyers out, and nobody called. And I'm like I said, that's just the business. You know what I mean? Like people said, I've seen people say in other videos, you can't rely on last year's customers. You have to go out like you don't have any customers and try to get new customers. And that's what I normally would do. But of course, because I had my daughter, I couldn't really do that. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm making this video not to like demotivate people, but just to motivate people, because like I always, it's not like I always say, but I've always followed this mantra that in order to get to somewhere great in your life, you're going to reach a climax, and that climax is going to be hard. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get to a point, sometimes it might get to a point where you feel like quitting. This is hard. This is too hard. I should just quit and just give up. But, you got to keep pushing on, because you never know what's on the other side of those hard times. You might have some hard times, but you never know what's on the other side of those hard times. Right? All right. So here's where my hard times started. I handed out these flyers, right, at the end of February. So March, we get into March. Nobody's calling me. I got maybe like two responses out of 12. No, 2 responses out of 11. And so those 2 are confirmed. Then I get 2 more responses. They didn't confirm my contracts, but they said they did want me to treat their yard. I said, okay. But the rest of the people, no responses. You know what I mean? And so, now I got 4 people. Two that's going to be on contract. 2 that just wants me to treat their yard as of now. So I go out and I do that in March. The situation happens when we have a vacation plan at the end of March, which is the last week of March into April. So I'm calling these people that I handed out quotes to that I haven't heard no response from, or texting them, however I contact them, and I'm letting them know that, hey, I'm gonna be out of town the last week in March. Grass around here in Virginia, this area of Virginia, usually starts growing in April, if not the last week of March. So I'm just letting them know, hey, if you wanted me to treat your yard, let me know, because I'm about to go out of town. If you don't let me know before then I'm gonna have to do it when I get back, if you want me to do it at all. So that's what I did. So of course, nobody responded. Still got those 4 people that I did. I went on my vacation. I get back from my vacation. On the day, I'm at the airport, right? I'm at the airport, about to come back home. 2 of my clients, the people that I give quotes to, call me on the phone, and they're like, what's going on? I'm like, what? They're like, what's going on? How come you haven't treated our yards? I'm like, what? Like, I've been trying to contact you for like over a month. And they're like, oh yeah, I thought it was understood that you would just fertilize it or keep it up to date, or up and going. I thought it was understood. And I'm like, well, I have to pay for those products. You know what I mean? The products that I'm putting in your yard, I have to pay for. So I need a confirmation, that you're going to pay me back. You know what I mean? I can't just go out here spending buying fertilizer willy-nilly and with no confirmation, and then you turn around and say, hey, I didn't want you to fertilize my yard in the first place, so now I'm out of money. You know what I mean? All I needed was you to answer the phone. I went by your house multiple times. You know what I mean? That's all I needed. You know what I mean? So those customers was like, yeah, I want you to do it. So now I get back from vacation and I'm running around like I'm crazy trying to get these yards back in shape. But because of course it's got warm, but now it's kind of got cold again. But it got warm enough for the grass to start growing. And if the grass starts growing, then the weeds can start growing. If you haven't put down weed and feed, then yeah. So I got back in time enough, and I'm running around trying to treat these people's yards and get them back in shape. And then another person down the street called me, which was good. Then I treated one person's yard, and then they told me, oh, my son-in-law is going to take care of our yard. So, I just assumed, because these 3 yards was all in the same place, so I assumed that everybody wanted it, even though I didn't get in contact with them. I assumed that maybe they were late too. Another lesson learned. Anywho, so I treated their yards. So, here's where it goes down even more. Alright, well, rewind. Remember that point. Rewind back to the beginning of February, right? One of my really good customers, I was hedging her bushes, right? I hedged this big giant pine bush, right? And I'm raking up everything. I'm raking it. And all of a sudden, I kind of bump into the house. Boom. I said, okay, I keep raking. But then something tells me, turn around. So I turn around, and guess what? There's a hole in the screen window. And it's exactly the same height as my rake. I just punched a hole in the screen. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I tell the customer, I'll get you a new screen or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I go call in the company that she got the screen from, and they don't call me back. And then I call other companies. They don't service other people's screens and stuff like that. So, I spend like a whole February trying to do that. Then I get into March, and maybe right before I'm about to go on my trip, I figure out that you can take it somewhere and get it repaired. They'll put on a new screen, which I didn't know. I just dropped that off today for $20. So the whole month I've been trying to contact these people. I could just pay $20 and got a screen fixed. But that was that. So I ended up breaking one customer screen. Now fast forward back to what I was just talking about, where I was treating those 3 customers' yards. And because I was putting down the weed and feed late, it already had weed sprouted. So I had to spray, which I have a attachment that you put on the hose. You put weed killer in it that doesn't harm the lawns. and I spray the weeds that's on the ground. So I'm spraying the weeds, blah blah blah. I'm trying to stretch the hose out, right? And as I'm trying to stretch the hose out, all of a sudden the spigot comes out the wall, out the foundation of the house, and water just starts squirting everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm running to tell the customer, I said, oh, your thing fell out. Because I didn't pull this thing hard enough for it to freaking come out like it did. You get what I'm saying? I'm just stretching the hose out like any normal hose. So I tell her, she's like, go across to this neighbor. He knows about this stuff, water, blah, blah, blah. Same thing happened to him. So I run across the street. I tell him, hey, the whole spigot came off. He said, oh, okay. So he comes out the house. He goes and shows me the main cutoff valve for the house. And then he's like, well, this is the main cutoff. This cuts off all the water for the house. In order for you to stop the water from squirting out of that spigot, you have to go behind that spigot and cut that off, which is all the way on the other side of the house, under the crawl space. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have to crawl. So I'm like, let me just get to it. So I go get my hoodie, put my hoodie on, get my phone with my light, using that as a flashlight, and I'm crawling through the crawl space. And I get to this part in the crawl space where it's like, I swear it's about 12 inches, bro. And y'all know I'm a little hefty. So if I had a big lunch that day, I wouldn't have been able to fit through this space. So I squeeze through this space. I get over there and I cut it off, and I crawl all the way back. So I tell a customer, I'm like, just let me know how much it costs and I'll take care of it, So she says, okay, that's fine. She's not mad. She's not upset, because what the guy told me is it probably froze from the winter, and that's what made it brittle, because it was a PVC pipe. So it made it brittle and it broke off like that. So that's probably what happened. So technically I did it, but technically, because whoever built her house used PVC pipe, it made it more brittle. You should use like metal pipe, you know what I mean, or copper, or whatever you're supposed to use. Anywho, so I told her that. She contacted me today, told me it would be $90, which it's not that bad. I'll give her the $90. That's how much pretty much she pays me for the month. So it's basically 1 month's worth of work, to fix that. Oh well, but that's pretty much how my season started. You know what I mean? Haven't even had time to hand out flyers. I haven't even had time to, do any kind of promotion for my company to try to get new customers. I've just been handling these late customers, trying to, keep things rolling with them, because I want to keep their yards looking good, if they want me to work for them, so I have to do everything. And now it's been raining these last couple of days, so I'm gonna go try to cut tomorrow. I even had one customer, she wanted me to come cut Saturday, and I'm going to be out of town, so I told her I'll come Sunday. So come cut her yard, and she's one of the people I gave quotes to for regular customers. But she says she hasn't decided about, what she wanted to do, which is totally fine, you know what I mean? Totally fine. I appreciate any type of business, whether it be a contract business or, per job business. But yeah, that's pretty much how my season's been going, you know what I mean? Already at 19 minutes. Long Tipsy Talk videos. But yeah, that's pretty much how my season's been going. And I still haven't, I got a quote from my friend about getting my lettering on my van. But I'm gonna get some second quotes. Seem kind of expensive. Went up from $1,000 to $1,200. So I'm like, maybe I need to get some second quotes, see what else is out there. So, but yeah, I mean, the whole reason I told you this long, depressing story is because not to depress you, is this. Sometimes in your business, you might go through things that's going to try to demotivate you. It's going to try to demotivate you. But you have to realize that the things that try to demotivate you are the things that are blocking you from your blessings, quote unquote, or your success. Your success is on the other side of these hard times. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm motivated about this. You know what I mean? One thing that this has opened my eyes is, if y'all look for my old videos, y'all know I always talk about loving to work with residential people. You know what I mean? Because residential people are more personable. You know what I mean? You know what happens with residential people, you work with them one whole year, then next year, you know, you might not hear from them over the winter time, but when they're ready to get their grass cut the next year, they're more likely to call you because they used you the last year. You know what I'm saying? And with businesses and commercial properties, whoever's giving them the cheapest quote, they going with them. So it doesn't matter if you did a fantastic job one year and somebody gives them a cheaper quote, they going with them for the whole year just to see how they do. You know what I mean? So that's how commercials are. And so that's why I've always leaned towards residentials. But after the beginning of this year, I'm considering commercials heavily. You know what I mean? I already got my license and everything, so I'm gonna start working towards churches. Churches are easy, that's nice and open, and see if I can get some churches this year, because I'm ready to stop this whole working a 9 to 5 and doing lawn care on the side. I want to just do lawn care. You know what I mean? Maybe you have another business or something, but I'm ready. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm motivated. And so that's the whole reason I showed y'all this sprayer at the beginning. that sprayer. The reason I got that sprayer is because, like I said, that with that one customer that I pulled her spigot out the wall, I still needed to spray her weeds, so I had to get something to do it. So I said I might as well go ahead and spend it. That was only like $60, not that bad, $60, and it got the job done. Hopefully it works. I sprayed it. Hopefully it has some good results. I'm also getting a bigger commercial size spreader. I'm tired of messing with these freaking cheap residential spreaders, with the plastic wheels and the plastic parts. This new spreader is off the chain. This new spreader is regular residential spreaders are 40 pounds. They hold 40 pounds, which one bag of lime is 40 pounds. This one I'm getting from Tractor Supply. Shout out to Will's Lawn Service, because he's the one that made me go down there in Mechanicsville. He got an 80-pound one. It's actually a 70-pound one from Tractor Supply. I went there and I saw the 70-pound one, but they had a 125-pound one right beside it. So I asked him about that. I said, do y'all have any of these in the back? And they was like, nah, but we can give you a rain check. And so they gave me a rain check because it's on sale. So once it come in, they'll call me. They said it should be like a week or two. 125. I looked up a 125 one spreader. Those things are huge, and that's gonna be crazy. So I'm upgrading to that. But that's pretty much all that's going on. right now, I'm just, like I said, I'm staying motivated. It's going to take a lot to demotivate me. You know what I mean? Like, because lawn care is lawn care. No matter, I love my contracts. I'll give y'all a video on why I do contracts later on, but lawn care is lawn care. As long as you have a lawn care business, somebody's gonna call you. I don't care if it's 1, 2 people, 5 people. Somebody's gonna call you and cut their grass. And it's up to you to do a good job on that one job, to turn that one job into 10 jobs. You get what I'm saying? So, even though I don't have as many customers as I would like, I got customers. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna keep it moving. But hope I didn't depress you guys. But I wanted to give y'all an update of what's going on with me in the form of a Tipsy Talk. Yep. But thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and stay tuned, because this was the longest Tipsy Talk I ever did. 26 minutes. Yes, sir.